What it do, Niner fam? All right, here go another one. Well, not another one. This one kind of goes from one place to the next. Remember, we did the one with Singletary and Tom Sula, right? And Harbaugh. Now, because everything leads up to where we at today, we know why Singletary came into the picture. Okay. And then when Singletary came into the picture, we know when he left the picture, who came in. And then when they got left the picture, like I said, go back and look at them other videos. Go back and look at them other videos. But now, the Chip Kelly era was right after the Harbaugh era. Okay? The Chip Kelly era. Now, the thing with the Chip Kelly era, I'm saying Chip Kelly had this offense. Okay, so it was like a big thing. I'm not sure exactly what happened with him in Philly, but it's a lot of players saying Chip Kelly was racist. I don't know. I don't know. It's I've even heard Shady McCoy say that, how he kind of either said crazy stuff or talked crazy about the black players. I don't know what happened over there in Philly. I'm saying it's got to be some type of truth to it because there's more than one player said something. Okay, now remember when he was with Philly, I think he had Nick Foles. Nick Foles was over there. Man. And I remember him, and what I remember about Chip Kelly, because he did something that made us all, we laughed about it. Remember, he had that Chip Kelly offense, which to me it would be a good offense. You got to build the team to go with that offense. Okay, it's a fast scoring offense. It's just to me, it's a fast scoring offense. And if your team is not built for that, it's gonna be all bad. And because you're gonna have, it's a lot of passing. And if you don't go, if you don't get down there, okay, you see how when Purdy played against the Colts and he scored 5 touchdowns, it was just boom, 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 touchdown, boom, touchdown. And he was scoring. He had a few games like that where he was just, boom, scoring so much and fast. That's how the Chip Kelly offense was supposed to be. Okay. The problem with it is if your defense is not holding the other, if they go 3 and out, if in that offense they go 3 and out, well, you didn't threw the ball 3 times. Your defense is right back on the field. And if the other team is driving, well, now your defense is going to get wore out because you're going to get back on the field and you're going to go 3 and out, and the other team is going to drive and then wear your defense out. See, and then you eventually get blew out because your defense is so tired they can't stop anybody. And to me, I remember when I seen him do it against the Raiders. And right now, I think Nick Foles should have his shirt and cleats and shit in the Hall of Fame because he scored like gang of touchdowns in like the first quarter or whatever it was. I'm saying I remember that shit was hella funny. Raider fans was mad and I was happy. So, but when I seen that, I was like, oh, okay, that's it's a high powered offense. But to me, you got to build. If you come into a team with that, it's not going to work. You got to build. You got to build that. Okay. Okay. Now, when he came to the Niners, okay, this is after Harbaugh. He comes to the Niners. Okay. Everybody was like, well, the Chip Kelly offense, it's built for somebody like Kaepernick. Okay. Because when Harbaugh left, Harbaugh was pushed out. He didn't get fired. He was pushed out. And remember, his quarterback still was Kaepernick. If anybody remember all the stuff Kaepernick was doing, he was doing a lot of running. He was taking hits. That's why I don't, if give me a quarterback who throws the ball, who can run the ball as a weapon. I don't want you to just be running the ball and throw the ball as a weapon. No, I want throwing the ball to be you. I want you to use your IQ. Don't just be running. And because that's when you get in the crucial situations, it will go all bad. And it will. Look at Lamar Jackson. Look at Lamar Jackson. People say, oh, he's got plenty of Super Bowl. He ain't got none. He get all the way up tier, all the way up there, and then he won't win. This is just what it is. Or you can say Michael Vick. He get all the way up. Michael Vick was running. He was, come on now. Michael Vick was one of the most notorious runners. The Vick experience. Man. But you can't win those Super Bowls. You have to throw the ball. Or you can be the Chiefs and have the referees, but now that's another story. But you want to be able to throw the ball. That should be the means of how you make your money. But if it's just running, that's only going to last so long. Like I said, you can get away with it because during the season, the fans are happy. They're winning. You're going to have a winning season. You might even have a good 13-4 or something like that. Or, you're going to have a good season. But when you get to that champion, NFC or AFC championship, it's not going to work, man. Because you got some of the best defenses that are waiting for it. And that's why I say with gimmicks. And you got a quarterback that's mobile. And then I know people saying, oh, well, Steve Young, let me get on my brief thing with Steve Young because I said I was going to do it the last time. Steve Young was mobile. Okay, what I say is Steve Young, they kind of pushed Joe Montana out. These are facts. It's the 4-time Super Bowl quarterback, and then he gets pushed out for Steve Young. We didn't draft Steve Young, okay? We drafted Joe Montana for this, okay, for the West Coast offense. That's why all them players that was on the team, that was built for Joe Montana. The problem is when you put Steve Young in there, he wasn't as cerebral. Now, he was good. He could throw the ball, but he wasn't as cerebral as Joe Montana. That's why he was so mobile. Oh, he's running. Yeah, he's running. He has to. He has to. That's really not his team. It wasn't built for all the stuff that he was doing. But the team was so potent. I mean, it was so potent. You're going to win a Super Bowl regardless. The problem is all the running Steve Young did, how many Super Bowls did he have? I remember that one, I think it was a playoff game when the Falcons came over there off a blitz and cracked him. And he was just laying on the ground with a concussion. He was tore up. And that was basically it. One Super Bowl. And that one Super Bowl, that was Joe Montana's team. Then you say, okay, Steve Young, go ahead. Do it yourself. Get 3 or 4 more Super Bowls. He never did it. Now, that was my little Steve Young thing. Now, still like Steve Young, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl, Niners, love him. Now, the Chip Kelly offense, when he came to the Niners, he's coming there expecting, okay, well, I got Kaepernick. The problem with Kaepernick, he had took a lot of hits as he was running, doing all that running. And so he decided, all right, it's going to be a down season anyway. I'm going to have surgeries. He had he had hip surgery, I think back surgery, his ankle, his shoulder. He had a gang of surgeries. When he was first starting, and we were going through all those, going to the Super Bowl, going to NFC championships, he was a big guy. When he came back from all the surgeries, man, he was thin. The biggest thing he had on him was his afro. It was funny. It was crazy. It was crazy. Now, you got to remember, he was out first. He wasn't playing. When Chip Kelly came, he wasn't playing, but they knew he was going to come back. So they got Blaine Gabbert. Oh, Blaine Gabbert. Niners, you remember Blaine Gabbert? You should. He won one game. One game. Out of like 6. He won one game. Yeah, one game. It was bad. The Blaine Gabbert experience, it was bad. And then I think he got broke off in one game. And then when Kaepernick came back, they was like, all right, we got Cap. We got Cap back. We gonna, do a little something. Hold on. All right, back. When Blaine Gabbert, I think he either got injured or whatever it was. But anyway, they had to put in Kaepernick. Now, before we get into the Kaepernick thing, we all know the protest, the political stuff. I focus on the football stuff here. So, you know what I'm saying? Now, when they threw in Kaepernick, we all look thinking, okay, we're going to get this exact same Kaepernick. The problem with that was, like I said, he was a big guy. He was working out. He was back then. When he came with the Chip Kelly era, he was kind of thinner. He wasn't as he was mobile. He was still mobile, but he wasn't going to be able to take them hits like that. So he wasn't. So now he's got to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. And he wasn't the most accurate person. He just wasn't. And you got to remember who we all had. A lot of people had left. A lot of people had left. You got to remember, a lot of the veterans left with Harbaugh because they wasn't going to go through another rebuilding process. So now you didn't really have all the players that we had before. So now you got almost a shell of a team. You got to remember, ain't no Alex Smith, ain't no none of that. Patrick Willis was gone, and then Navarro Bowman, remember, he was out because of the broken leg thing in Seattle. A lot of the players were gone. And so now you got Kaepernick still trying to hold it together. He ain't even the same person. And then, like I said, with the political thing, now all the focus, we already doing bad. The team's losing. And he puts the focus on that. Like I said, I don't get into that whole thing. I get to the football point. But I'm saying that was a distraction. Because now, all the focus is on that. And you ain't even playing good. And you got the focus on that. And so now you got Chip Kelly. He just got thrown into this. Now, whether people say Chip Kelly was racist or not, I don't know. But imagine if you're a racist person, then you got Kaepernick doing that. Oh, my goodness. It was all around bad. It was bad. It was bad. I think Kaepernick only won one game. Look at the wins and losses. Chip Kelly only was coaching for 1 year. Look at the wins and losses. And Blaine Gabbert won one game. And so Kaepernick played. And this is when they had 16. So you got a lot of microwave, fans that really don't know. Because remember, according to a lot of these fans, if the Chiefs ain't winning the Super Bowl with the damn referees, everything is old. So you gotta, help them out. So we used to have 16 games. It used to be a 16-game season. I just had to throw that in there. You feel me? So Kaepernick, if we had a 16-game season, Blaine Gabbert won one game, and then Kaepernick comes in and he wins one game. That's 2-14. Imagine. I was able to listen to all the crap. They didn't have social media like this, but I was able to hear all the crap. As soon as you turn on ESPN or NFL Network, whatever it was, it's bad. Because the focus was on the Niners because of what Kaepernick was doing. So we'll lose a game. We getting our ass stomped in the game. Look at that. Look, week 1, 49ers and Rams. Look, I can tell you, when we was winning games, it was joyous. Look, in NFC West, we were 4th. Playoffs, we did not qualify. Chip Kelly, one season as 49ers head coach, fired after 2016. Fired. He was literally fired. And you can tell the frustration on him when the season, because you got to remember, he is a decent coach. I think he right now, and then I look, okay, he's a decent coach. He was just down there. He was the Raiders offensive coordinator. They've been firing him. I think Chip Kelly, go back to college, dude. He played with Oregon State, I think. Go back to college. I think he did. I'm not sure. But he was just recently with the Raiders, him and Pete Carroll. And I think that was a little shit show because I think they needed to get the first round pick that if they're going to get that Fernando Mendoza guy. So they just threw them together. So, when I seen what we were going through at that time, it was all bad. See, Niners, I want you to that's why you have to appreciate these times. Oh, we got to get rid of this, fire Shannon, and get rid of this person. No, hold on. I know y'all don't see, the thing is because they don't remember this stuff. They don't remember this. That's why I had to bring up the Singletaries and the Tom Sulas. You got to bring up the Chip Kellys. You got to remember, see, that's why I say you got a lot of these microwave caps, they want it fast. Nah, man. That's why when you hear somebody say, let them cook, let them cook. You ain't cooking nothing in no microwave, man. You got to let it cook. Let it do what it's supposed to do. And a lot of these new cats, they don't want that. They don't want it, they don't want to let it cook. They want to put it in the microwave or the air fryer, let it get done real quick, and then that ain't cooking your food, man. But it was all bad. Now, when it was all bad, and I want everybody to understand, they didn't get rid of Kaepernick. He was coming to the end of his contract. He actually thought he was going to go somewhere else and either get more money or whatever it was. And, man, you ain't getting none of that, man. Look what you just did. Now, whether I agree with him or not, that's irrelevant. I'm looking at it from a football standpoint. See, I'm looking at it from a Niner standpoint. And I always say the same thing because people at my job, you're like, oh, yeah, Kaepernick this, that, and the other. I say, look, I could agree with him or not agree with him. I'm like this, dude, that's your job. I can't go to my job and do a gang of stuff, man, because it's not my job. It's theirs. I don't own it. So when the attention that Cap brought, hey, I understand, but I mean, it was such a negative light on the Niners as far as football. See, remember, I'm saying football because you got a lot of people, oh, well, what he was saying was right. I'm not getting into that. I'm saying as far as football, I try to keep it right into the football ring. And then you got to remember, when he got fired, when Chip Kelly was fired, now Cap gone. The one thing about Steve Young, it was Steve Young and a few other people was like, we're gonna find a coach. I mean, yeah, we're gonna find a coach for the Niners. They got rid of Balky dude, Trent Balky. They got rid of him. They said we got to find a general manager and a head coach. And after they seen what Shanahan did in Atlanta, he put up 28 points against the Patriots. The problem is when they lost to the Patriots, they blamed him for everything. Well, he already knew he was going anyway. I'm going to be a head coach. So I'm out of here. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So once he left, and then they was like, well, he need a general manager. Okay, and in steps Lynch. He ain't never been a general manager before, but he was a leader of men. See, Lynch was a leader of men on the field. He was a good team leader. One thing to show you a team leader, he's specifically for the team. Remember, he was playing, and I think it was with the Bucks, right? And then his brother-in-law was on the other team, and they was like, man, you ain't gonna hit him. I think the dude was a wide receiver or running back. He was like a second or third string, whatever it was. And Lynch, as a player, he was like, I don't care. I'm for my team. Man, dude got the ball. He hit dude so hard, they brought the stretcher off for him, and that was his brother-in-law. He didn't really say nothing. He was just cheering. Lynch was cheering with his team, but he showed the people that I ain't going to take it easy on him because he my family, because he my sister's husband or whatever it was. That let me know. I said, oh, yeah, Lynch is a fool. I like that. You know me? But now, when Lynch came to the Niners, as far as the general manager, and that was his first time, and then you got Shanahan first time as a head coach. You got to remember, Shanahan had to gut this team and build it from the bottom. He had a few pieces left that was still remnants of the Chip Kelly Harbaugh days. You had to get rid of that stuff. You got to remember, Harbaugh drafted Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward was still on the Niners when Shanahan was there. And that's why Jimmy Ward left, because him and Shanahan wouldn't get along. Why you think Navarre Bowman left? Because him and Shanahan didn't get along. Well, guess what? I got to get rid of all these people and bring my own guys in. And then when he came to quarterbacks, well, he was supposed to get Kirk Cousins, and Commanders was hating as usual. You know how I go. But I could get into that. That's Shanahan's story. So that's the little Chip Kelly thing. So let me know what y'all think. Did I miss anything? But now that's the gist of it. You know what I mean? So like I said, appreciate what you got. Appreciate what you got. This at 2-14. Yeah. Let me know what y'all think. Leave it in the comments. Peace. I'm out of here. Like, share, subscribe.